Hi Stephen, it's Jack here, just going through your work. I thought I'd just do a quick recording to show you what I think about what you've done. So this is your animation. Now I think if you went through the instructions in the assignment, you would see that it didn't ask you to do any squashing or stretching. And as I'm going through this, there's a lot of squashing and stretching that happens without any reason. So at the beginning, when we're starting, we should just have the ball being a normal shape, and it should go across and follow a parabolic trajectory, and that's all you need to do. And the only other thing you need to do to make this work is to have some adequate spacing. So at the beginning, when it picks off, it would have a reasonable distance because it's accelerating, and as it gets to the top, that distance will get smaller and smaller, and it will bunch up until it gets to the top, and then it will start to accelerate on the way down. So these spacing intervals become larger and larger. So as it goes up, it stops in the middle of the sky, and as it comes down, it starts to pick up pace again. And then when it gets to its next bounce, the same sort of behavior will happen. It will come up, it will reach the top, it will bunch, and then it will come down faster on the opposite side. So if you do that, you don't need to worry about squashing and stretching. If you do want to have squashing and stretching, then there should be a reason for it. At the moment, on the way up, if this was the trajectory of your bounce, it would start up like this, and the squashing and stretching would follow the trajectory. So it would start up along the trajectory, and as it gets towards the top, it would go back to its normal shape. And on the way down, if you wanted to simulate the feel of motion blur, then it would come down and hit the ground and perhaps change its volume, and as it starts to go up in the next path in this direction, it would start to reform itself this way and pop out that way, but very quickly it would return to its normal shape. So it's important that whatever you're doing, that you maintain the shape as much as possible. And the only reason I would suggest that anyone tries to have a squash or a stretch is if you want to try and simulate a motion blur like effect. So with that said, going through your work, you should keep the ball cylindrical, don't squash it, and the motion, I'm not sure if it's the video encoding, but every frame that I move forward, it should change. And that from this frame to this frame, the action hasn't changed. So that will feel like it's being held back in space. There's a small change there and nothing. Another movement, another movement, no movement, another movement, another movement, no movement, another movement. So what I would recommend is if you put the frame, I'll show you how to do this next week in the Q&A, but remind me about putting frame counters. That way I can see whether it's a video glitch or whether you're progressing from frame 001, and as I move forwards it's going to 002, 003, etc. So as far as the movement's concerned, the thing that annoys me is the change of shape, the erratic change of shape. There's no reason for it to flatten out before it hits the ground. If you think about it, you wouldn't have any forces exerted on you until you hit the ground, and then you could imagine something to happen. For the time being, I recommend to go back to the instructions exactly as they're laid out in the Animation Mentor website. Do the rolling ball, which has the spacing where it slows out, picks up its speed, and then slows down again. And with the other one where it comes up quickly and then bunches in the middle and then comes back again at the opposite end. So what we're seeing there in this first one, A, is the way in which something starts and stops when it's moving across the page. Here you're seeing the way something moves and then stops in the middle of the sky and then comes down again. So this is more like your vertical spacing, and this is more like your horizontal spacing of the ball when it's bouncing. Alright, let me know what you think about that, and I'll talk to you more about that in the Q&A.